Okay, my question was to describe two examples of disease in human which result from damage or malfunction to an organelle or intracellular structure. So, damage to the mitochondria due to exposure to toxic oxygen products related to aging and other chronic disease such as Parkinson disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, and heart disease. So I have drawn a picture, and basically the picture talks about the mitochondria. So here is the mitochondria. Here it says that it's known for ATP synthesis for the cell, which we probably heard it called the powerhouse. Also, the way that the mitochondria works is that it's through respiration to regulate cellular metabolism. So here's the mitochondria. There's a diagram that talks about it. So ATP basically synthesizes this as ATP synthesized for the cell. Also, the mitochondria is known as the powerhouse. The way that this happens, it happens through respiration to regulate cellular metabolism. And so this is dependent on the presence of oxygen, which is here. Also, the site of aerobic respiration in eukaryotic cells. Also, mitochondria is found in both animal cells as well as plant cells. To basically good indicator for mitochondria, it deals with the amount of mitochondria that you have in a cell. So the cell rate of metabolic activity. Also here, we are talking about the central set of reactions involved in ATP. So ATP is also used in the Krebs cycle. You usually find mitochondria in muscles. Muscles require a lot of energy to work. And also here, which leads to my next slide, is in humans, the mother contributes to the mitochondria to the zygote. She gives it to the children. Here I have drawn a diagram that talks about mitochondrial inheritance. So the first example, you have a father that has the disease. So he's shaded in, blue. There's their children, and the children do not have the disease. But then you have a mother that has the disease, so she's shaded pink. And then there's a potential that all three kids could have the disease because the mother passes the mitochondria over to the zygote. And then the third one is the mother with the disease. Some mitochondria are normal, or you have some that's mutant. And basically, this third diagram talks about the children. The children may or may not have the disease, and the severity of it may vary. So you have the little boy, he doesn't have it. The little girl, she could potentially have it. The third little boy, he could have it, but his symptoms of the disease could be very severe or it could be very mild. Okay, here. So basically, when you have mitochondria malfunctions, it leads to human genetic disorders. A large deletion of the mitochondria can cause the current Sayre syndrome, which basically prevents oxygen from doing what it's supposed to do in the cell. And that because it's not doing what it's supposed to do in the cell, it affects the muscle. The person might get ptosis, the drooping of the eyelids. Also, another one is diabetes. Diabetes is the mutation with the mitochondria related to nuclear DNA that's impaired by the pancreatic B cell insulin. So this is how a person can develop type 2 insulin resistance diabetes. Lastly, going back to my first diagram, in the middle where it says mitochondria, I have put other medical conditions that is impacted by malfunctions of the mitochondria. So as I mentioned, diabetes was one that I chose. You have ptosis, which is the eyelid drooping. Exercise intolerance is another one, as I've been saying that this affects your muscles. You have cardiomyopathy, so heart disease, cancer, and since cells are not getting the oxygen that they need, then you have the malfunction in the cells, which then can cause cancer in the body. And then it also can cause deafness, like it affects the sensory, the hearing in the ear.